In this tutorial, we will discuss about the parameter passing through functions. Actually, parameters are type of data or information that function needs to process it. So let's see how can we pass a parameter into a function and process it through that function. So type the function. Okay, so this is the prototype of a function, and it's a simple function with no parameter placed here. So let's define this function like void my function, and this is the body of the function. Okay, and we want to print your age on the screen, and then we want to call it. So just go to the body of the main function and write down the name of the function with parentheses. Okay, so we want that this function print the age passing through parameters. So first of all, we should introduce the parameter with integer, for example age. Okay, so now there is a single parameter defined in the prototype of this function, so this is why we also need to replicate that parameter here. So the parameter shall be same in both prototype as well as in the definition of a function, and the number of parameters should also always be equal. Okay, so we want to print this age here in this function. Now, as we have introduced the parameter here in the function, so we need to pass the argument, and that argument shall be of the type integer. Okay, so for example 50. Okay, so 50 is actually integer type that will be passed to this function, and this function will receive this 50 in variable age, and that age is actually be printed here in this cout statement. You can see it here. This is the age. Okay, this age is very different from the variable because this age will be printed as it is with spelling age on the screen. So let's see, compile and run this. Okay, here you can see your age is 50. So actually we have passed the integer value to a function from the main function, and that user defined function have printed that value on the screen. So we can change this with any other constant value, for example 30, and you can again see here. Okay, so here you can see this is the value printed is now equal to 30. You can also make it a variable type, for example integer x is equal to 20, and because this x is of type integer, so we now can easily pass the value of integer. So this passing of value or constant from here is known as argument. Okay, so this is the argument which is passing from here, and this integer, this declaration of a variable is known as the parameter list in the parentheses, declared in the parentheses. Let's modify this program in another variable. So include the string header file, yes, and then I want to print the name in this function. Okay, so declare a name with of type string. So first name, you want to print the first name, and this is the variable f name, or you can say the identifier. Okay, and this is the type, the data type. Okay, so what we need is to change this variable here as well. So string f name. Okay, so now we have to pass the string for as parameter to this function. So let's say you are change this message, your name is f name. Okay, so this is of string type, and here from this function we can use or change the type of x, and let's say that Ahmad is the example, and this is the string, and remember the string is always enclosed in a double quote, so we are assigning this command into variable x of type string. Okay, so it is so the variable here in the argument shall have the same type of as it has been defined in the user defined function. So for example, if the variable here in the parameter list is of type string, so the value here, the constant of variable, shall have the type string. So therefore x is defined here as string, and we have assigned a value, a string value here into the x, and that value will be passed to this function, and this my function will actually catch that value and save it into the fname and will be printed out on the screen. So let's see. Yes, okay, so here you can see your name is Hamad. Okay, so this was another example. In the next video tutorial we will see how can we pass multiple parameters to a function. Okay, here the basics should be clear to you, that how can we actually declare the parameter list, the parameter in the parentheses of a function, and how can we use that parameter inside the function, and how can we pass the argument to that function. Thank you so much.